says,
You got numbers. What numbers are you on there? Sure.
115 says that we talked about the objective, whatever, and subjective approach, but it's anyone who just.
Oh, in that one, you can use subjective or constructionist as synonyms, synonymous, so you don't have to define them separately. Okay, the or implies that they're the same thing, and that's what Best talks about. That way, that if it helps in the subjectivist thing, I'm saying like, we have to build. Remember social construction. We have to build it up as a social problem. If not, in this view, it's just a troubling condition, right? Okay. Remember, this is more of a social science level. You say like it's not a sociologically, it's not a social problem. Morally, it's a social problem. Sure. Okay. A moral thing, a moral claim on these sorts of things tends to be more objective anyway. It doesn't matter what you individually, personally think. This is something like we should be worried about. Does that help? Okay.
Number 22, you just have to identify two what study shot.
Where are we? 22. That one I really want you just to, the focus there is the way to make sense. Best I think is really good, but he's also somewhat, you can read him and go like, dude, what was that chapter about, right? Which you can do with any chapter in school, right? Fair enough. But focus on, in that chapter, on the problems of social problems workers in work. Focus on the diagram of the various pressures. And the diagram is your guide. And then just pick two out of them and just talk about like an example. You could totally steal from Best. It's okay. Okay? It's, we're in test taking mode. We're not like in citation mode, right? Citation mode is for papers, so you don't have to be original here. Once you're like, oh yeah, this is an example of whatever. Does that help? Okay. So just revisit that. That was actually the reading quiz question where I said like under, beneath, or under, on top of, or middle of a lot of pressures. Remember? It was really just working out the diagram. I ended up giving credit for 2 of the 3 answers because somebody argued like, dude, like grammatically, like you just say people are under pressure. So I give credit for either one. I don't know if I ever announced that, but yeah, but that's the diagram that we're talking about for that question.
Okay, so number like 12, okay, this phrase is not a question, but what is insight of sociology?
Sure. Insight just is, what I mean by that is essentially like a concept or idea or something, okay? That lets you see something, literally. So the metaphor here, which you don't need to go into, but just think about this. Like therapy, one of the goals of like doing counseling or therapy is to get insight into your psyche, your brain, whatever, heart, emotions. So you look at things, understand them, and now like you can conceivably go, oh, now I will choose to try to respond differently because I know this is going on. So this is like, oh, I got this idea in Soch that I hadn't thought of perhaps. We could just lie. I don't know. I don't want you to lie, but it's a choice. If you're like, dude, I can't think of anything. What does Morrissey want to hear? No. Don't want to, no. But I think here's this idea. Explain the idea, label it. That's really where the points are. Connect it to something in one of these 3 domains of your life. That point will be quite easy as long as it sort of vaguely makes sense. It just so I don't go like, huh? And then the 4th point is just to give you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Another point that people ask that I can't remember if it was said in both or not is that in preparing for those, first of all, frankly, I'm probably not going to ask all 3. But you could literally say the same insight for all 3, but you need to connect it to be specific that it's like, oh, this is, even if in reality you hope that your religious life, your personal life, and your vocational, your professional life are highly integrated, you still got to break it down, for the answer. Okay? And make it
Oh, I have a question.
Sure.
For the ground warrant and confusion question,
Mhm.
so should we also talk about the frame for match with that question?
No, you do not have to.
Okay.
However, and I guess I should have been clear about this, I'm sorry. But I actually really like the frame language better. It just makes more sense to me. Like diagnostic, motivating. It actually tells you what they are. So you can use that instead of those if you wish. Okay? Because they're presented as synonyms by best, so if you want to use that instead. But you still need to explain, it's in italics, so the only problem is because, like, what word do I use to define motivating other than motivating? That sort of question. So you might go, oh, I'll use warrant because then I can use motivate. Or whatever, I don't know. And again, you can rip off from best if you just want, like, to some degree, the testing is, honestly, the creative thinking you're going to do in your paper and stuff. This is just kind of spit back home. Darren's got a question.